What's up, guys? Welcome to today's podcast, another solo episode. I hope you guys enjoyed my last one. My last one actually got better reception than I thought it would. It was all about credit scores and credit cards, which is fascinating that people wanted to learn that so much, and I love that. For today's episode, we're also going to dive into another topic that I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in, but I'm very interested in. As you guys can see from the title of this podcast, it's going to be sports betting and like gambling as a whole, and I'm going to dive into the ins and outs of how crazy it's grown in America, like kind of just taking a look at that, because I've actually been betting for a long time now, but I do really small bets, so don't think I'm like a hardcore gambler, but it's in my blood because, you know, your boy Vietnamese, and them dirty little Vits like myself love some gambling. I'll talk about the dangers of gambling as a whole as well, and a lot of other things. But first off, I wanted to apologize because I did skip out on last week's episodes. You guys didn't like. I don't want to gloss over that. I had a bunch going on with my renovations at my nail salon, and I just literally could not get a podcast out. I know it seems easy to just talk on camera and in a mic for like an hour or whatever, but the editing time of me posting it, making sure everything's tagged, putting it on Buzzsprout. Yeah, Buzzsprout's the one I use, and all that. It was just a little bit too much for me that week. But this week, even though I am also still busy with editing vlogs and everything, getting my life back together, I am going to upload this. And so, anyway, so today's podcast is everything sports betting. So if you guys don't like sports betting, don't want to learn about gambling, sports betting as a whole, skipped out on this podcast, it's not one for you, and maybe the next one will be. If you guys do have good ideas of topics that you do want me to get into, put it in the comment sections down below, because I'm into a lot of things, and I can also read about it and talk about it. But last week's episode was credit, so if you guys want to learn more about that, go to last week's episode. This week's going to be about gambling. So if you guys, before we get into this, I want to put this out there as a disclaimer disposer. If you have a problem with gambling, stop gambling, and also hit up the gambling hotline, which I think is 1-800-GAMBLER, which is what? I guess it's different in each gambling hotline, gambling problem. Why is it doing unaliving myself hotline? I want the... Okay. Text 988 or call 1-800-GAMBLER if you guys have a gambling problem. Okay, now that we got that out the way, first off, if you have a gambling problem, you probably shouldn't be listening, or you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast because you probably know everything that I'm going to say, and gambling is an interesting little world, and gambling is similar to that of stocks in a way. A lot of people who are into the stock market, which I am as well. And if you guys want to listen to a podcast full about stocks, I can get into that as well, and I can nerd out. But the thing about stocks that makes it, I'm going to do comparisons first, okay? So for people who don't know, stock market is, businesses that are public, and you can put money and invest into those businesses. As the businesses does well and the earnings do well and more people want the stock, your stock gets higher and the price is higher, and you can sell it for a higher price, or you can hold it. And now if the stock is less wanted, is doing bad, and people are starting to pull out and starting to sell their stock, it'll make a negative impact in the stock. That's very similar to sports in a way, because in sports you put a wager on whether it's a team, a spread, and we'll get into all the terminology that I know. Again, this is like a dumbified version. This is like a 101 crash course into sports betting. And you make an educated guess on what you believe the outcome of a game or an event will be. And as the event goes on, you can cash out, which is kind of like selling your stock if you're doing really well, but most of the time people will just hold through, and it's a little bit more finite in a sense that whatever happens will have an end result whether you win the money or you don't. Whereas stocks, it's kind of like, it's ever going unless the company goes bankrupt, which has happened to me one time. I think it was BlockFi. I had money in crypto in BlockFi, and as I did end up still getting some money out because there was a huge lawsuit over it, which thank God, got like $200. I didn't have much crypto in it, which is great. But anyways, so back to sports betting. It is crazy to me. The reason why I'm talking about this, by the way, guys, is I've always kind of sports betted. I think I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now, but I've always had a rule, and it's good to have these rules and limitations with yourselves, where I will never bet above $5 unless it was a bonus, which means it's not my money. It's the company's money that is using that promo. Or if it's a really big event like the World Cup finals, Super Bowl, things like that, I'll bet maybe $10, $20 maximum. The reason being that I have those limits is I'm a person that if I don't give myself limits, I will go ham. And I'm okay with losing $5. I'm okay with losing $10. I'm okay with losing $1. And my most common bets are $1, and it's just for fun. Now, I have made $25 bets and like $50 bets if it's bonuses, because it's not my money. And I've actually done pretty well off of those, and I'll go into that too. The reason being is the number one rule of sports betting that I want to give anyone, or tip, not even rule, tip, is do not go into this. And this is the same thing with the stock market. Do not put any money in your sports betting account that you aren't willing to lose. Don't be those dudes. And that's where the gambling problems stem from. It's from those guys who, either one, they're down bad, or two, they're just risky people as a whole. And they put a lot of their money. I'm talking about money that they need for rent, or money that they, money that they, they're struggling, their car broke down, they need money, so they resort to gambling, because gambling is a very fast outcome for making money. It is a quote unquote shortcut. However, there is a high level risk. Gambling wouldn't be so big if there wasn't a reward for these companies, because they know that the mindset of a gambler is, it's not so much 50-50. The house almost always wins overall long term. And, I have things pulled up here in a little bit that we're going to get into, and like the glossary, we're going to get into different odds that are coming up right now. But before we get into that, I do want to say, so the thing with those people who bet all their money is, one, don't be like that, because the problem with these people, and the reason why these companies like DraftKings and Bovada, all these Vegas as a whole makes money, is because, let's say you're that down bad guy, which is a very small subset of gamblers, but you're down bad, and you put your rent money, let's say it's $1,000. You put $1,000 in a game, right? And let's say you lose it. You're fucking fucked, right? You lost all your money. Now you're resorting to whatever outcomes, right? And you might even resort to pulling out more money to gamble to make that money back. And now that's even higher risk. Instead of that risk being like a 50% chance or a 40% or whatever you played, now you're doubling that risk. So now it becomes 25, even less, right? Or let's say you win and you made the 2,000. How often do those people stop there? Maybe they'll stop, maybe they'll pay rent, and then they bet the rest of their money. And then it's just so forth. And that's where these companies win. So you want to have a good mentality towards betting. Make it's a fun thing. It can be fun and it can be lucrative, but just don't make it your ends of making money and making ends meet, because realistically gambling isn't a sustainable outcome, right? I mean, a sustainable income. I said outcome. Income. But yeah, so with that being aside, let's get into gambling. Let's say you're a newbie, you want to get into this stuff, and it's a good time for all my North Carolina people, because the reason why I'm even making this video is North Carolina just passed a law that made sports gambling legal. If you live in North Carolina, I am 99.9% sure you have seen some type of sports gambling advertisement or billboard within the last week because it has been insane this last month. I have seen Gronkowski talk about FanDuel. I've seen fucking like DraftKings posted all over. ESPN has started their own betting company, and they've invested money into North Carolina because now that it's legal, everyone's in North Carolina is like, oh, let's gamble our money away. So for all those newbies, whether you're from North Carolina or not, and if you're an expert at gambling, you're not even listening to this podcast because you already know. But so to make sports gambling professional, like I'm not talking to those people because there are such things as professional sports gamblers, and those are people who keep their own books. And will bet based on how different the spread is, blah, 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 blah. I'm talking to all the beginners. So let's get into some terminology for beginners. So I'm going to skip over a bunch of these because some of the stuff you don't want to know. Whoa, like, yeah. Like what? You don't need to know all this. Let's get into the types of bets, okay? We'll go into DraftKings right now. This is my DraftKings account. And this is a game that's going on right now. The Charlotte Hornets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So here we have multiple types of bets. Most beginners will start at betting on the actual game, not individual parlay. We'll get into parlays and individual achievements from players. There will be spread bets, total bets, and money line. Okay. So money line, that's the simplest type of betting. Betting a money line is betting on the team winning. In situations where it's like basketball, or let's say basketball, maybe football too. There's only two outcomes. One team wins or the other team wins, which means you lose. Football, there is a chance of a tie, but if there's a tie, you get your money back. You don't win or lose any. Same thing applies for UFC, and like certain sports like that. However, soccer plays a different role because you can genuinely bet on a tie because ties are very common and, not super common, but pretty common. So that is the only sport, and maybe a few other sports. I'm not too sure. I'm not too educated on many other sports, but I know soccer has a betting line separate for ties. So if you bet on one team winning in soccer and it ends up being a tie, you lose your money. Where in other sports where ties are super rare, you'll get your money back. All right, so that's easy, betting money line. Now the problem with betting money line, the good thing about betting money line is it's simple. If Charlotte Hornet wins and you bet the money line of Charlotte Hornets, you will get times 9 your money, I believe, or 7.5. So let's see. If I were to bet $1 with 0.75, you're going to get $7.50 profit plus your $1 back. So now it's 700 how did I get that back? Oh, NBA. So now it's 700, so you get $7 and 800. So this is ever moving because the game's going on right now, by the way. Let's go to a dead game, or a game that hasn't started yet. That might be a little bit easier to look at. Is there any, how do I do? Oh yeah, game lines. There we go. So we're going to go to regular game lines so that it's not moving around. All right, here we go. This is college. Let's do NBA for right now. Cancel, clear all. All right. While this is going on, I don't know why DraftKings is acting up right now. Come on, DraftKings, get your shit together. All right. Anyways, we'll use this as an example, college basketball. All right. So tomorrow, from this day, which is actually today when this podcast uploads, Georgia is playing Ohio State. We'll use that as an example. So if you bet the money line on this game right here, you'll get, if you bet on Georgia is the underdog by 310 points money line, or 8.5 spread. So with the money line being 3.1, they are not expected to win. So if they aren't expected to win by that percentile, and they do win and you bet on them, you'll get 3.1 times whatever amount of money profit. Now, if you bet on Ohio State, because Ohio State is expected to win by a lot, you will get minus 3.95 profit. So I'll give that as an example. If you bet $1 or $10 on Ohio State, right? If they were to win, which they are expected to, you would get, what the fuck? Why is it? It's acting up right now. I don't know why. But you would get a lot less. You'd get, well, whatever the math is, but it'd be like 30 cents? No, $3. $3? I don't know. Something like that. I don't know why it's acting up on me. I'm about to just do it on my phone. Nah. Come on, dude. Pee pee boo boo. All right, anyways, we'll just, I'm not that good at math on the top of my head, but we'll say it's $3. Look at that. It's already acting up like crazy. Draft. Whoops. We're going to go back into DraftKings. All right. So anyways, there's another type of bet called betting on the total, which is, you'll see right here. Betting on the total is essentially a certain game will have a estimated amount of scoring, whether it's basketball, whether it's soccer, whether it's football. Let's say tomorrow Carolina plays Duke or whatever, right? Whatever team plays whatever team. And whoever the book is, whether it's DraftKings, whether it's Vegas, whether it's Bovada, each one is going to be very slightly varied, but not by much. So they'll predict the game to have an end score. They do this through many, many analytics. Oh, we're back. I found out. Okay, so let's say you bet $10 on the Ohio State game with a minus 395. Your payout is only $2.53 net profit, which is not shit. And you're risking $10. So if they end up losing, you lose that $10. And if they win, you get $2.50, which isn't bad. But it's a safe bet because there should be winning. But again, you don't really win a lot, and basketball is very volatile, so you don't really know. Nothing in betting is really that safe. But anyway, so let's get back to betting on the total. So right now, the Georgia and Ohio State game that's playing tomorrow at 7, they are predicting the total score to be 150. So both teams ending in 150. You can bet over or you can bet under. And either way, you're going to get the same amount of money. Usually the payout is pretty similar for total and spread because the smart math geniuses will make it. And they do this, the bookkeepers will do this where you see it's not plus 100, meaning that you don't get your exact money back because the bookkeeper will take a small fee of your bet regardless of what it is because they need to make money at the end of the day. So every bet will have a very, 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 very small amount that goes towards the whether you win or lose, that goes towards the bank because they need to make some money. And then you bet on the spread. So spread means that because Georgia is underdog by 8.5 points, they're predicting the score of the Georgia game to be Ohio State beating Georgia by around 8.5 points. So either 8 or 9. And so you can bet that either Georgia plus 8.5, meaning that if Georgia wins, you'll get like $10, you'll get $9, and the house gets like $1. Or if Ohio State wins, but it's still under 8.5 points, you'll still win it. So it's like a buffer. Spread gives you a buffer, and vice versa. If you bet for Ohio State, you expect Ohio State to win over 8.5, which is 9 points and above. I don't know if that makes any sense. I know it gets a little confusing. The easiest, if you really want to be a beginner, you just bet money line, or you bet the total. Spread is a little bit more complex where you're now thinking about what the end score will be. Will Ohio State win by 1? Will they win by 50? Will they win by 20? You have to kind of how good are you at predicting the sport, All right, so that's the simplest ways of betting. Now there's parlays. Parlays is multiple bets in one. So let's say you want to bet Ohio State, but the odds of you betting $10 but you only get $2 isn't enough for you. So you want to bet another game. You want to put 2 games into a single bet. Now that raises the parlay. I put Seton Hall, which is another team that is expected to win. Now, if you bet this parlay, the odds are a lot higher. You can now get, for $10, you can get 9.9 profit instead of earlier only $2 or $3 profit. Or if you did just Seton Hall and you get like $5 profit. So it's higher. But the issue and risk of that is if one of the bets go through, but the other one fails, you lose because you're betting on both games coming out. And that's where these betting books like DraftKings, that's where they make their money, dude. Because parlays, people love the ideas of parlays because you're thinking, oh, not only can I predict this one game that's only going to win me $2-3, but I bet you this game, and this game is going to win. The odds of that happening is so low, but if you cash out on that, it is a lot of money. So that's where they make a lot of money. And then the final bets that I'm going to be talking about that I'm experienced with is player betting. Player betting is very popular in that of like Prize Picks. DraftKings has it too. A lot of betting things will have it too. So in DraftKings, I'm unfamiliar with where you would go, but you can go into the individual game itself and bet on individual players over unders for their points, assists, whatever, so forth, right? In soccer, you can bet on like who scores first, who will score. It gets so intricate. You can bet on anything, dude. You can bet in MMA the amount of rounds that the fight will end in. Like, there's so many intricate things you can bet on, and it's so crazy. You can bet on fucking like anything, okay? So we went through the basics of, over, under, totals, money lines, spread, betting, blah, 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 blah. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about before we talk about my own bets is the stakes of betting. So when you bet, it's, first off, obviously, do not bet money that you aren't willing to lose. How educated are you in the sport? Are you just trying to risk $5? Because then, if you're willing to risk that, then go send it. Have some fun. It makes the game fun. You're rooting for a team now, right? I've done that before where I'm not too familiar with something like women's basketball. I wasn't super familiar last year when the Natties came around, and I put money on Iowa because I had heard Caitlin Clark's name, and I thought it was fun, and they were the actual underdogs. They were not supposed to win that game. And so I put money on it, but, I lost it, and it is what it is. I put $5. It's not that big a deal. But now, if you're betting big money, you want to make sure you're betting, first off, you don't need the money. If you lose it, you're not going to kill yourself, unalive yourself. 2, you bet on something that you're educated in a sense. Oops, sorry, the mic cut out. The audio cut out. I said audio. The video cut out. But yeah, let's say you're good at basketball. You can predict. You know that this team should be winning today. And this has happened to me before. I was watching MMA, and there was a fighter that most people didn't know about, but I knew. And I was like, hold up. They just got to the UFC. I was like, this person is a killer. And the odds, for some reason, had him as an underdog. I put $5, instant win, right? And now let's say I had more money at the time and I put like $10 or whatever, right? But I have limitations. I would have made more money. So, the more you know a sport, the better your predictions will be. Make sure, it's money not you don't know. And you can look at different – I recommend this. Look at different promotions going on because DraftKings right now has a promotion where if someone invites you, you get up to $200 in bonus bets, and you instantly get like $200 in bonus betting or something like that in North Carolina, which is crazy as long as you deposit a certain amount. But yeah, I have been betting off of that, just the bonus bets, and I made $200 net profit, and I've already deposited it in my bank account. Like, I was like, this is too good to be true until I saw it in my bank. With that being said, don't just make willy-nilly bets. Like, I lost some of my bets, but I won the most for the most part. But yeah, sports betting is an interesting world. Be careful, people. And with that being said, let's get into my predictions for let's do the NCAA tournament. Um, dude, there's so many betting sites now. Let's look at how many betting sites. Look, there's Caesars. Look, they're doing a bet $10 and get $250 promotion, which is very common. Bonus bet, first bet offer up to 1,500. FanDuel is a big one. DraftKings. And I searched it up the other day. I wanted to see how profitable these companies are, and they're at a loss right now, but they're looking at a long-term profit, looking to break even within a year or two, which is interesting because they dump so much money into these promos, which makes sense because now everybody knows who DraftKings and all these brands are. But let's go to the NCAA tournament. We'll do college basketball. Okay. So the tournament, is there a way I can just narrow it to just a tournament? I know Clemson's playing. Can I do just the NCAA tournament? All right. Anyways, NCAA tournament. All right. So who's playing? I know Clemson, North Carolina. Oh, I have money on UNC and or UConn winning it all. By the way. All right. So we got Clemson and Arizona. Okay. Dude, fuck. That's tough. What's the odds in that? I want to see what the odds, and I'll see what I'll put my bet on. Clemson and Arizona is +7 for Clemson. Dude, I have a feeling Arizona will win it. I feel like it's going to be a close game, though. So it either spread +7 or Arizona money line on a parlay or just straight up. But I wouldn't win much because that odds is not great. Let me exit out of these. All right. What's the next game? Let's see. We got Alabama, UNC. UNC's winning that. I would put money on that. Oh, this is a close game. I'm putting money on UNC. I'm putting it just straight up. I don't trust the spread. I'm putting it for UNC. What's the next game? Oh, NC State and Marquette. That's tough. I want to root for State. Marquette's probably going to win. I'm probably still going to put money on State just because I want to see them win, and I'm just going to put a little bit. And the odds of them winning, let's say if I put $5 on State, how much would I get? Fucking $16 or so net 11. I'm fucking sending that. Also there's bonuses. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you apply, let's see, which one is this? Oh, there's no bonuses on this one. No. Oh, if I apply a no sweat bet, do I get my apply a college bet and receive your wager back as a bonus bet up to $10 if you lose? Oh, that's fun. I'm definitely going to use that. Yeah, so be on the lookout for promos like that. I know DraftKings is really good at promos. I think that's why they're not profiting like that. Who else is playing? Duke and wait. I'm missing some. San Diego State, UConn. Oh, there's 4 games. I'm fucking stupid. San Diego State, UConn. UConn's winning that. I don't even know this. I wouldn't bet on this game unless I add it as a parlay. I wouldn't bet on that. Not even worth adding it. The odds are so low. Let me zoom in so you guys can see better for the video watchers. Yeah, the odds are fucking terrible. I'm not doing that. Illinois and Iowa State. That's tough. If I bet, I'm gonna bet Illinois, but either team could win that. I would only bet Illinois because it's a +110. I don't know that game that well. All right, North Carolina, Marquette. I already talked that. Gonzaga, Purdue. Shit, I think I have Zags winning that. I think the Zags will win that. Pull an upset. That's who I have. And then Duke and Houston. I painstakingly will bet Duke, but more of a Carolina fan. But I'd probably bet Duke on that one. The odds are better. And I also think that that's a solid Duke team. Creighton, Tennessee, I have no fucking clue. That's a very equal matchup. If I bet, I probably bet Tennessee. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, betting's an interesting world. I'm going to end the podcast here. I hope you learned something for all the beginners. If you're an expert, don't even watch this video. You shouldn't have, at least. Sorry to spoil it so late, but you guys probably didn't learn shit. But for those of you who are a beginner, you probably learned a little bit of something. Be careful with what you bet. Make sure you have limits on yourself unless you know what you're doing, or if you have unlimited money, which no one does. But yeah, only put money in that you're willing to lose, and yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a great week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. I'm between like Greek mythology, like crime cases, or like it's just something I'm interested in. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Ooh, a yawn. Ugh. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye. Love you guys. Peace.